Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you a really helpful tool called Clockify Time Tracker. So it is a Chrome extension in the Chrome Web Store. It has a website interface as well. And really what the extension does is just allows you to quickly access the resources from the actual web page faster. So what is Clockify? Like I said, it is a Chrome extension, so you might have to get permission from people on your Google admin team to get this available to you. It should be okay for students in high school and middle school. You can look at the privacy settings and really kind of make a determination for elementary, but it looked to be okay on that front as well. So what Clockify does is it really, like the name implies, tracks your time. So it tracks time spent on websites. It can track time spent on a particular task and send you notifications if you've set a threshold to know that I only need to spend this amount of time working on this task or on this website. It lets you know when that time is up so you can move on to different things. And it really can help you track maybe areas where you're being productive or you're spending a lot of your time so you can kind of get an idea on what you're doing. It's also really a little bit more complicated than that. There's a lot more features on this that you can leverage depending on your needs. For teachers, this might be a really helpful support for your own executive functioning skills and helping you keep track of the different parts of your day, whether it's grading or lesson planning or providing feedback on a particular assignment to students. You can track that all within Clockify. You can even add other team members. So if you're collaborating on something, maybe you are on an academic team together, or you're planning a project or work on committees, this could be a way to kind of manage your time and your resources there and keep track of your different projects. Because there's almost like a post-it note or checklist feature built into this too. So it's a little bit more robust than just a simple timekeeper. But for your students, this could be really helpful if maybe they're perhaps struggling with managing their resources, managing what tasks they need to work on, or their time. So when we think about learning, this is a really helpful support for our students on the UDL guidelines for executive functioning and helping their inhibitory control as well as their flexible thinking, helping them move on from one thing to another and manage their time and resources. So once you have added this extension, it will show up here on your little extensions menu. If you want this to be more visible, you just click the little pin button and that saves it here so it's a little bit easier for you to access. The first time you go through this, you will be prompted to create an account. You can use your Google account if you want to save yourself some username and password woes there. And to open it, I just click the little extension here and it will ask me to log in again the first time I use the actual extension there. And then once it figures out you're signed in, you're all good to go. So this is what it looks like on the web interface when it really shows you this the first time. There is a paid version and a free version. You can do quite a bit with the free one, and I really think your students would need to ever access the paid version to do what they need to do. So whenever we're here, basically I can write what I need to work on. So as a student, maybe they are self-directed and know what tasks they need to be working on for your particular class. If you are the teacher of record for students, maybe you sit here and you help them type out for all of their classes. Or maybe, if you're working with students who don't quite know what they should be working on and they get stuck just on that front, you can sit here beside them and type those out with them and kind of give them that initial push, release that gradual scaffolding over time to where they are the ones who are writing these resources out. All right, so this is where you can write out that task and you can add tags to it just so if you're using the same things often, or if you know there's certain websites you're visiting frequently, you can add a tag to it and that just makes it look all fancy whenever you do a report that shows what you've been working on as well. So that's just helpful if you know you're going to be using this over time. Could be a helpful data reporting piece for you as a teacher if you want to check in with students that you know have been using this pretty heavily. All right, other features here, just the time tracker one is probably the best one, I would say. And I'm just going to open that extension right here. And it's the same type of view here as what I have on the screen. So I'm going to add tutorial videos and we're going to click start. All right, so I can say what time I'm starting this today. And I can keep track of, it's saying I'm starting this right now and all that good stuff. You are going to see some business lingo on here, partly because it was developed for businesses and is used by several Fortune 500 companies. But if I wanted to add a project here, I can do that as well. So if you're maybe a teacher who works with students who has a lot of different classes, maybe instead of it just being projects, it's classes. So maybe you have a project here and it's just a project, I'm just using their lingo, but it's math. Or another one is science. So that kind of helps you color code and arrange the different workflows there. So I can add notes here for myself. I can create a new project if I want to. I can add tags if I want to. So maybe I label this as homework where I label, I can create a tag that's just studying. So over time, I can see maybe where I'm spending a lot of time on homework, but I'm not spending a lot of time on studying before tests. Then I know it's something I need to focus on or set a personal goal for myself to spend more time on that later. Right? So other features here, your calendar is going to show you the things that you've been working on over time. You can add your teammates here. You'd have to type out their email and they do have to have an account first. So teachers, the first time you use this with students, I would make sure that you have your own account and that you guide through and make sure that they're on here as well if you plan to use this with them. And then reports, like I showed you a few minutes ago, just shows some of the data pieces here as well. And you can technically print those if you would like. Again, some of this is more focused on business aspects and money there. You're probably not tracking money on this with your students, but dashboard here also shows you some of those features as well. So projects is where I can add my different things. So I'm just going to put LMS training videos there. Maybe that's a project that I'm working on. That's how I can filter it. Sorry, I need to create the project first. I'm gonna do LMS training videos. You can add clients and things if you need to there. You can add templates, but that is one of the upgraded features. But you do get some color options here. So for this, I'm gonna make this blue and I'm gonna do create. All right. So now if I go back to my task that I've already started, I can look at my task here from this window or from here. And on my tutorial videos task, I can add that as a project here. This is not really an LMS training video, but I can flag it as that so that whenever I go and I start to want to look at some of my charts and data there, it's basically going to track that as this is the time I'm spending on that. So if I had flagged that as algebra homework, then now it's tracking that I'm doing my algebra homework now. So if I'm the teacher and I tell my students, all right, I want you to spend 15 minutes tracking this, then it's just going to keep going through the timer here, going through that. And I'm going to click stop whenever I'm done. You can do play again to continue that, but here we go. It shows the amount of time that I spent there. Some additional features here, you can duplicate or delete that if you need to, but that just shows the amount of time I spent on that. And I can resume that from here as well. This little pencil button here just allows you to edit this further and change the names of this if you want. But it's just a helpful little feature here to show you what you're spending time on and to help your students manage their time and resources as well. So could be a helpful option here for you and your students with your executive functioning skills. If you have questions, let me know, comment on the video, or you can send an email to me to let me know.